So another thing, like I mentioned a little bit about the naming ceremony, and this is about the tribal culture. So I'm going through a tribal culture here. So naming is a big deal. So I kind of talked about how on the 8th days when they name their seed, if it's a daughter or a male, and what Nigerians do is they tend to name them around the time. It's not just like, in America, people find something, Shaquita or Laquita or Mikey or what's that guy, Ray, or I mean, I don't know. It just seems like these names just have nice tunes to it, but it has no meaning to it. And I don't know. If anybody's name is Ray or whatever, said my husband is Yoruba, Ijebu, and he is very frugal. And he said his father told him they came out of Egypt. Yes, same thing. I'm going to cover that. Yes, my dad said that all they can remember is they think that they were Egyptians, and that. But I'm gonna cover that. Let me hold off on that thing. But I like that little quote there. But the naming ceremony is a big deal. So let me read this. It says the Yoruba have an interesting way of naming their children. Naming of the newborn is very serious business that involves a ceremony of its own, and it's a big party. It's like having like what you guys have in weddings party. That's how a naming ceremony is in Yoruba culture. It is believed that a person will live out the meaning of their name for the rest of their lives. And you see this in Genesis chapter 27, verse 35 to 36. I'm not going to read that, but you can look at that. It says, and parents doesn't just choose any fancy name and follow a prevailing fashion. Every child is named based on the circumstances around their birth or a prophecy concerning their life. The naming is done on the 8th day of the morning of the circumcision. If the child is a boy, you can hear the Yoruba name immediately. Understand the circumcision surrounding the person's life. For example, is this part of my 20? But anyway, like for example, a person named Taiwo signified that he or she was the first twin, while Tonkumbo means that the child was born abroad in foreign land. Babatunde means that the child was born after a recent death of the father or grandfather. And Ayabon means that the mother has returned, implying that the grandmother died just before the baby girl was born. Hold on here. Turn this thing off here. What's going on here, but I'm gonna put that on YouTube. So, but anyway, so you can see here, there's a lot of stuff here that I can read here, but once again, if you look at the Bible, let me just read it because this has a lot of good stuff in here. It says there are more God-focused names. So a lot of the Nigerian name have God name in there. Like and here's an example. Oluwaseun means God did this, or Oluwaseun, thank God, or Modupe, I give thanks or praise. Oluwasemilior, forgive me on that, guys. If it's not my name, I usually have a hard time. It says God has done me a favor, and Oluwashindarara means God still perform miracles. Even my son, I got my son, he's Oluwasegun. Let me see what his name is. My and I always let my father give the middle name of my children because like I said, it's a big deal. I remember when I was first sorry guys, I'm just looking this thing up. But I remember when my son, when my children were their first born, I remember taking this very seriously, like saying, man, this is my job. And I remember with my first wife, she made a big deal about, well, why can I not name it? And she was more concerned about if it was cute or if it sounded good, and I was more focused on, I mean, just naturally, I was just more concerned about the meaning of the name and making sure that the name represented what I was going through maybe, or what was going on at the time, or what I wanted to believe for my seed and everything like that. So my son Yosef, obviously Yosef is Yah has added, but Oluwasegun, right? That means Yah has been victorious, or God has been victorious. But I'm putting it's Yah has been victorious. So Oluwa. So anytime you hear Oluwa, it means God. And so when you hear that, you're going to hear that. So let me read some of the examples here. Let me see what Aka B took on his grandfather's name. So, and I don't know what Aka B. Let me see here. My second son was my Hebrew woman. Let me see here. I do write these down here just because I don't want to forget the meaning, because it does mean a lot. So obviously I named him Ephraim, double fruit, double ash heap, shall be doubly fruitful. Ankabi means consciously, deliberately born. So Ankabi, which was named after my grandfather, is deliberately born. So my father, I usually let my father, he's still alive, I still allow him to, I don't like to use the word allow, but I'm always honored that he's willing to give my seed their middle name, so that I can tell them that your grandfather named you. So, like I said, even though I haven't done like the ceremony like they do in the Yoruba culture, but naturally, instinctually, I know that naming your children is a big deal, and it comes from my background, seeing that. So, but in American culture, it's just totally different. I remember, arguing with my first wife about that, like, well, and then when we got to our daughter, I think we had a big fight because she said now that it's a girl, she wants to name it. And literally, my daughter has two middle names. One that my dad named, and then she has one. So we just to compromise. So if my daughter is listening to this, the reason why you have two middle names, because that right there would tell you, because of the conflict. But names are a big deal in Nigeria. But let me read this. It says right here, there are more than God. There are more God-focused name, and I've read a lot of them already. It says, let me skip here. It says the next paragraph: victory in a war may lead to a male child being named Adeleke, brought victory. So if he brought victory, he'd be called Adeleke. And guys, I may be messing up on this pronunciation, but it says being born on Sunday. I thought this was interesting. Deacon, being born on Sunday might give a girl named Abosede, meaning that she came in the beginning of the week. That means if she was born on Sunday, they named her Obasede, meaning that she came in the beginning of the week.
So the beginning of the week is Sunday.
And, bro, so they obviously believe that Sunday is the first day of the week. Bro, you can't make this thing up.
That's amazing.
So anyway, obviously in the Bible says, but what is the relevance of this in the Hebrew? Well, serious students of the Bible will quickly realize the names in the Bibles are never coincidence. They always tell us the story of the individual, of their birth and life. For example, Pegle meaning earthquake, right? In Genesis chapter 10, verse 25, makes us understand that there was an earthquake on the earth when he was born. Even the patriarch was named Noah, meaning rest, because the people have been burdened with toil for food and believing that God had brought better days when he was born. We got Moshe, or Moses, right? Was the name because he was drawn out of the water. And Hosea, God told the prophet to call his daughter Laruhama, not pity, because God would no longer have mercy on the house of Israel. And you got Shem. Shem will be the one to bear the name of the Most High. Japhet, expansion, is the one who will seize the land. Who's seizing the land now? Like, these are signs, guys. You guys can't make this thing up. Seize the land. You got Ham, black, was the darkest of them all. Other examples can be seen in Isaiah. So I know I've seen some really dark-skinned people, and I'm not there. So I got to be from Shem. So, but I'm gonna leave that there. I don't want to be shadow banned. But anyway, but this is this.
Would that be anti-Hamitic?
I don't know. I don't know. Here's an example here, and this I want to end on this one with regard to naming. It says the exact naming style of the Yoruba. These are the naming, but they never name their children after inanimate objects, and they will never be called names like stone, wood, forest, snow, or north. You will certainly never find a Mr. Fry or Tickle Toes among them. So you got people. I mean, some of you guys got named Wood, Forest. You know, those are not names that you would see in the Yoruba culture. The Forrest Gump, or Mr. Snow. You know, or you know, you just got these different names. But like I said, you won't see these things in the Yoruba culture. So once again, guys, I'd say these are just different things that you see in the tribal culture of the Yoruba tribe in Nigeria.